Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lee from MXU. I wanted to give you my thoughts on the Allen & Heath Avantis audio console. So just spent a lot of time making a long list of tutorial videos on how to use the desk, and I wanted to share my thoughts on what I think about it. And I gotta say, it's pretty great. I think that's the headline is I can't find much to like raise any red flags about. So this console is 64 inputs, 42 outputs, has remote I/O, has card slots for things like Waves or Dante or Maddie, has personal mixers, 3 different types, has 2 iPad apps, one for mixing, one for musicians, and has great desktop software for both Mac and PC. It seems super reliable. If we can talk about that for just a minute. I've left it powered on for, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks at one point, and left it passing audio through Dante and virtual sound check for, I think, 4 days straight without stopping it. No issues. I didn't really think there would be, but haven't had to restart the console, didn't stop passing audio, anything like that. The only bugs in the console are in like the help menu. Like there's a button you can press. That's actually one of the coolest features is a help button. And when you press it, you get these pop-ups all over the screen of what different buttons do. Well, at one point that kind of froze. Those messages they would go away, but anytime I pressed them, the same messages came back up. That's the only issue I found. The desktop software worked really, really great. It's very easy to use. That's the other part. It's as easy to use as like a Yamaha console. They're kind of famous for being super easy to use. This one is definitely that easy, maybe even easier because it doesn't have high-end features you'd see on 6-figure consoles. What you see is what you get. You get 2 15-inch touchscreens, which are awesome, and they're beautiful. They look great. And for a cheaper console with a lot of plastic and not a lot of metals and nice materials, it doesn't really feel cheap. So it's a lot of plastic and rubber, but it doesn't feel as toyish as some kind of cheaper consoles. The desk cost around $10,000 for just the Surface. You can have an expansion pack that'll give you a bunch of other plugins. Like there's one on the screen right there, and I think it's for like $1,500 or $2,000. You get all these other plugins, which is significant in proportion to the cost of the console, but they're really great and they sound really, really good. Speaking of the sound of the console, it sounds great. I didn't have any issues with the way it sounded. There's not a lot of consoles that sound bad anymore, but this one sounds good. It's a 96K console, which brings me to probably the only thing I don't like about it is that it's 96K. Now, hold on, hear me out. If it was 48, then Dante Virtual Sound Card would let me record 64 inputs and outputs. But since it's 96, if you want to go over 32 channels just off Cat 5 to your laptop with Dante Virtual Sound Card, you can't do that because it's 96K. So you either need to do MADI or have a Dante accelerator or something like that to up the I/O count for virtual sound check. So a blessing and a curse, I guess. I usually don't like consoles that are configured in 2 banks of 12. That's just a personal preference. It's probably not for you. I'm just being honest with how I felt about it. But I didn't mind it because the right side of the console, those last 4 faders, you can lock down to a master section. So it ended up actually working for me pretty well to leave all the band inputs over here on the left, the vocals and vocal effects on the first 8, and then those last 4 were like key DCAs and master fader. It'd be awesome if there were LCD screens on the console, but you're talking getting into that $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 console range when you get those features. Like there's user-defined buttons all over this console, like a couple dozen of them or more, and user-defined encoders or rotaries as Allen & Heath calls them. It's annoying to have to remember what they all are, so I could see the console being just filled with tape and labels, which that's fine. I mean, for what you get for $10,000, now that's without I/O, so before stage racks, before cards, before expansions, $10,000, but that gives you a good gauge of kind of where this falls in the market. So you've got the X32, the Wing, and Studio Live consoles in that range, Yamaha TF. And then there's a big gap, and there's only a couple consoles in this price range, like the Digico S21 and this. I think that's about it. I have a feeling we're going to see more consoles come up in this price range, but as of now, 2022, this is kind of the only one. So if you're a church looking to grow from, say, an X32, but you don't want to go spend $30,000 on D-Live, bigger Yamaha consoles, or Digico stuff, you should really look at this. It's probably the only option out there for you. Well, sorry, there's that Digico option, but those two are really it. So it's really great. I got a lot of messages and DMs because people knew I was filming on the console. They were anxious to hear it, and I think it's awesome. I don't have any issues with it. I would mix a show on this. I'd love to have more faders, but wouldn't we all? But other than that, it's a really great desk. Allen & Heath, I think this is the best product you've ever made. Bravo.